Good evening. I'm Dennis Browning, the Chair for the Board of Appeals on Zoning, and I call this meeting to order. Secretary, will you read the roll call, please?
Commissioner Browning,
Here.
Commissioner Copeland,
Here.
Commissioner Forbes,
Here.
Commissioner Gale,
Here.
Commissioner Nash.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next order of business is approval of the minutes from our August 3rd, 2022 meeting. So I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any corrections or changes to the minutes? Anyone have any corrections or changes? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we need the approval of the agenda. I would ask, consider moving our elections officers until after the public after public comments. Does that make sense? So if I could get a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of the election of officers until after public comment.
Motion to approve.
And do I have a second? Is there any further discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries then. We're under new business. And under new business, we have a public hearing. And prior to the hearing, I have a statement that needs to be read. So the function of the board is to approve zoning flexibility. The action of the board can be an interpretation which involves an interpretation of the zoning code text or a zoning district boundary. We may also use a variance, which is an appeal to vary from the strict application of the zoning code. The meeting is videotaped. It is important that only one person speak at a time and the audience observe respect for the speaker. When the appeal is in which you are interested in is called, please come forward to the podium and allow the board a moment to review the material, after which you will give your name and address to our secretary. After the appellate's presentation, anyone interested in the appeal may come forward, give his or her name and address to the secretary. Please make sure your comments are brief and to the point. Speakers shall not ask questions of specific board members. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. We don't have the audience that's very big tonight, so we're going to try to stay within that 3-minute presentation, please. But it'll be up to this board if we want to extend. It'll be up to our board members. The board will discuss the appeal, vote, and continue to the next appeal. An affirmative vote of 2/3 of the board shall be necessary to decide in favor of the appeal. The action of the board is final. The only relief is through the court. Are there any questions? If there are none, the secretary will call our first appeal. Any questions? Okay. And our first
I did
appeal.
want to mention that the presenter who represents the project gets 10 minutes instead of the 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then everybody following that.
Okay.
is 3 minutes.
Yep. Okay. Okay, would you call our first and only hearing? I can call it?
The hearing is for J 23-0174. It's a waiver on the separation distance of a proposed marijuana retail operation at 1030 Gratiot Avenue.
Okay. And our appellate's people are here to present?
Yes, sir.
It's your turn right now.
Good evening.
State name,
My name is Ray Murad.
and you represent or
I
from?
represent Premier RM Properties.
Okay.
Your address too, please.
My address
need
is
that.
4500 Brookstone Drive, Saginaw, Michigan.
Okay.
I would like to begin by thanking the board for allowing us to be here today and to speak on behalf of this appeal. My name is Ray Murad, and I am the owner-operator of Premier Properties, a development company. I have been a resident of Saginaw since 1991. I grew up here. I consider Saginaw to be my true home. The first opportunity I was offered was to work as a stock boy at Foodland grocery store on Genesee 22 years ago, 2 blocks away from the current Premier Provisioning Center. With this being said, I have a true passion for seeing the city that I call home thrive and improve in every way. I would like to bring further improvement to the city starting today at the corner of Brockway and Gratiot. The end result will be beautification that all taxpayers of Saginaw will truly admire. I would like to stress the importance to the board of being able to have our facility at the location of 1030 Gratiot. Our main focus here is this: how can we most benefit the community of Saginaw? Sure, if we put the business at 1014 Gratiot, we will have successfully opened another location in Saginaw. However, if we are able to build at 1030 Gratiot, we will be able to better Saginaw community, increase the homeowner's property values, and overall make this corner better visually. We have high hopes to be able to develop this entire corner, not just a single building. According to a 2021 census, there are more than 27,000 people that reside in this zip code in Saginaw. Each morning, people are waking up and leaving their homes to begin their days. We want to add more to Saginaw than just a dispensary. Brand new sidewalk, attractive foliage, and new parking lot with absolutely zero cost to the city of Saginaw or the taxpayers. In doing so, we will be increasing the overall safety of the neighborhood by making it easier for people to navigate their way through what is known to be a very busy motor vehicle traffic area. According to a study led by the Michigan Department of Transportation, an approximate 6,800 vehicles pass through the intersection of Brockway and Gratiot in any given day. The building that currently resides at 1014 Gratiot, formerly known as the West Side Discount Store, has proven to be a hardy obstacle to any motor vehicle operator. If you have driven this corner, then you very well know difficulties that comes with it. The building is tall, boxy, and positioned in such a way that makes it extremely difficult for drivers to see oncoming traffic on either side. The only way to achieve perfect safety for these 6,800 motorists by tearing down the building at 1014 Gratiot and build our new facility at the location of 1030 Gratiot. I would like now to take the time to express my gratitude to the board for allowing us to come here tonight and explain why we feel this request to be granted. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you are the main presenter, is that correct? Yep. So now we're going to open it up to any other comments. Is there anyone here that would like to?
Do we ask him questions or not?
No, we're in a
Not through the
public
course of the
hearing, right?
public.
Okay,
Not yet, no.
okay.
So is there any other members of the public here who would like to speak on this? Please step up to the podium, give us your name and address, and we're glad to listen.
My name is Leroy Shepherd. My address is 2136 Bromore, Saginaw, Michigan, 48601. Since Premier has been open, I've been doing security there. I've been head security, me and my company. Another location would add more jobs for the company to spread. Premier has been the only dispensary, well, actually the only contract that I've had, and I've been doing security for 25 years in Saginaw. Under Detective Moden, I did Townhouse, the projects, the crossings, so I know my way around Saginaw pretty good. I think it'd be a good idea for them to open up another dispensary. I've seen some come and some haven't even opened yet, and they're just selling the buildings. Where we have people here that's willing to invest into Saginaw. And I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. From the audience, anyone else would like to speak?
Hello, my name is Cynthia Oland. I would like to speak on behalf of Premier Provisioning on Genesee Avenue in Saginaw. I would like to thank you all for being here tonight to hear the appeal administered on behalf of Premier Provisioning. We are very grateful for the approval of our second Premier Provisioning location in Saginaw, but when we began to think of ideas to really maximize and improve this space is when we decided that the best course of action for the business, the city, and the residents of the city would be to tear down the old distracting building that used to be at the West Side Discount location and put our formal investment into the previous Hamilton Home Bakery building. We know the burden that the city of Saginaw and the taxpayers of Saginaw bear to maintain a consistent upkeep with the area. We feel genuinely overjoyed to be able to have the chance to improve the Saginaw community in a more personal way than most other businesses do. What we aim for at Premier Provisioning is to provide a space that ensures the consumer feels happier and more fulfilled than when they entered. As we all know, the Adult Use Marijuana Taxation Act always leaves the county better at the end of a fiscal year than when they came into it. And during the 2021 fiscal year, an estimated dollar amount of around $56,400 was allotted to every jurisdiction that allowed the sales of adult use marijuana per operating retail location. For some places, such as Kalamazoo and Washtenaw counties, this number was upwards of $1 million. Premier Provisioning vows to be able to drastically increase this number for the city of Saginaw if we are able to move forward with the proposed plans. As previously stated, all the company wants to achieve here is the best possible outcome for the store, the city, and the residents. If we are able to rebuild and remodel the building at 1030 Gratiot, then we will be able to construct a more stunning and visually appealing store than at 1014 Gratiot. If we can successfully execute this plan, we will have a location on our hands that is able to generate more sales. More sales means a higher tax amount for the consumer. Not only would we have a hands-on approach to reconstructing and improving the corner of Brockway and Gratiot, but we would also have the opportunity to increase the fund that is paid out to the city of Saginaw, which can be used by the city for various social programs that better the day in, day out lives of the Saginaw public. Thank you again for allowing me to speak before you all tonight. I hope that the reasons provided here today will facilitate the board in understanding our drive and motive to better the community of Saginaw. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else from the community here that would like to speak? Just step up.
Hello, my name is Thomas Mark Inman II. I live at 1203 Brockway, 3 doors down from what used to be the Hamilton Bakery. I think it'd be a good idea to allow them to open it because it will help the community by utilizing that building that is now vacant. I think there was a crash into it shortly after they closed. My understanding is that the old Smith Brothers, the old pawn shop, used to has some structural issues with it also. All in all, I don't see a problem with it. I've heard some talks about some people worried about certain people going right over to the park and selling to minors and stuff. And it's like, I think all the minors in this town know where to get their stuff if they really want it. I hate to say it like that, but that's how I see things. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience that would like to speak on it?
Yes, my name is Brian Legallo, 1029 Gratiot. We have the Tony's business. We've been in business for 30-plus years across from the Hamilton Bakery. Just looking at the pictures alone, you can see the beauty that it's going to bring back to Saginaw instead of abandoned buildings. So I definitely support their half on that part. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak? Go ahead.
Hello. My name is Amanda Jones. I live on 1623 Boy Scout Road, Carroll, Michigan, 48723. Thank you for having us here to speak tonight on behalf of Premier Provisioning in regards to the company's appeal. I've been with the company as a district manager for almost 3 years now. It is a known fact that the building that resides at 1030 Gratiot holds tons of memories for plenty of people in and around the Saginaw area. Built in 1947, this building is known for once hosting the Hamilton Home Bakery. The bakery has been mentioned multiple times online and by mouth as a beloved, inexpensive place to stop and get your pick-me-ups. Knowing what we do about the public's perception of the Hamilton Home Bakery, we would like nothing more than to bring this property back to life and beautify the space that once held the bakery. It has now already been sitting vacant several months, which is nothing but a true disservice to the residents who used to look at this location with bright, wide open eyes. We would like to completely honor the history that this building contains by bringing it back to life in a modern fashion, not demolish a historical site. In doing so, we will also generate at least 20 new full-time career paths for young people in this community. At Premier Provisioning, we have always had a pristine ability to form long-lasting personal connections with the community that we serve. We have been able to give back to the community in very special ways. Not only do we provide inexpensive products to people in need of clean, safe, state-tested, and lab-endorsed products, but we also have been able to take their dedication and investments in us and give back. Most notably around the holiday season, for the last 3 years running, Premier Provisioning has hosted turkey giveaways to the public right before Thanksgiving at all operating locations. We were grateful enough to be able to host the first event in Saginaw last year in 2022 when we were able to hand out 150 turkeys to the community. We are also currently in communications with the staff at Covenant Hospital to begin a consistent donation program with their Covenant Kids unit. With this being said, I hope that the board is able to see what Premier Provisioning's investment into a community has looked like since 2018. I would again like to deeply thank the board for allowing the opportunity to come and speak this evening. We know that the construction and operation of this property will prove to the board and to the Saginaw community members that we deserve this opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? The Honorable Joyce Seals, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. I'm Joyce Seals, 2559 North Woodbridge, Saginaw, Michigan, 48602. I come tonight representing the Saginaw County Prevention Coalition, which is made up of about 25 or 30 organizations that serve youth in our community. We just recently did a survey with children, and in particular about marijuana. It's appalling what the kids say. Also, I'm a school board member, and I can tell you, I'm upset about how many kids now in middle school and high school who are not even eligible to take the stuff are involved in it. The kids said in the survey that seeing all these dispensaries all over town encourages them that it's okay to use marijuana, even though legally they can't do it. That's what the kids said. We'll be happy to share that survey with you on what the kids said. In fact, I talked with some, I think yesterday, to just verify. I want to get it straight in my head. So I'm definitely going against this because, you see, once you make a waiver one time, I want you to know you're going to get others who are going to come. And I want to know how you're going to stop giving these variances and you're going to change. Already, I think some of the closeness you have to schools and churches, I know that if you had one 200 feet away from my church, we're going to get out and I'm going to get every church in town to picket because you're not going to be that close. So I just don't want us to be making variances like this. So be ready. If you're going to do this now, if you make a variance and change your distances between the separations, then you'll have to do it again. And I'm just saying, can you do it? Will you be in legal trouble? Because if you did it for one, you got to do it for all of them. And I'm just discouraging you for changing. It's bad enough that we decided to do this in the first place in our community. And see, that's why we have the proliferation of all these places in our community. It just saddens my heart. And I sat and talked about Hamilton Bakery. They knew me by name, and you're not honoring it by putting a dispensary there. That's a disgrace to that place that served this community with honor and dignity and so forth. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm totally against it, and I hope you will not do this.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, come forward, please.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Robinson, and I'm also with the Saginaw County Prevention Coalition. It has been said you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. So if you make one exception, you'll have to make another. According to the CDC, it says in 2019, 30% of U.S. high school students reported lifetime use of marijuana, and 22% reported use of the past in the 30 days. Past year vaping of marijuana also remained steady in 2020, following large increases in 2018 and 2019. However, large percentages of middle and high school students reported past year marijuana vaping, 8% of 8th graders, 19% of 10th graders, and 20% of 12th graders. Premier is saying that they want to do this because of beautification. The definition of beautification is the action or process of improving the appearance of a person or place. Improving is to make or become better. The question becomes, how does this make or become better when what we are doing is increasing what we are having as a negative when it comes to our team? In the city of Saginaw right now, there are approximately maybe 11 McDonald's, maybe 7 or 8 Walgreens, maybe 7 Rite Aids. How many of you remember when your children were small and they would drive, they couldn't even read, but when they saw McDonald's, they said fry fry? Because the picture that they saw made them relate to what was there. That's the same thing that's happening with dispensaries. Whether they know the name of it, they recognize what it represents. That's the same thing when we spoke with our teens. They said that it's becoming so common now that marijuana is like smoking cigarettes. So now we're putting up dispensaries. Even when it comes to McDonald's, Burger Kings, and other things, they recognize and they limit the number that you can have in a city. They limit the number of how close they can be. But we're coming to the place that we're making dispensaries commonplace. Can we also recognize that we want what we see? Is this the image that we want in the city? Our teens are saying to us they don't have any place for recreation. They don't have any place to go and have fun. They don't have any place to go and do other things, but yet we are willing to continue to put up dispensaries. So I say to you, what image do you want to continue to put in front of them? So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I'm going to ask you, what do you want to behold in the city? And what image do you want our teens to behold? And what image do you want the city to continue to behold? So continue to give the inch and you will give the mile. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else willing or wishing to speak on this public hearing? Second time, is there anyone else willing to speak on this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
You have in front of you a letter from Travis Hare, the city engineer. Please consider this letter of support regarding the waiver to separation distance from the sensitive use, which is being discussed for a proposed adult use recreational marijuana retail establishment to be located at 1030 Gratiot Avenue. The intersection of Brockway Road and Gratiot Avenue on 46 is highly traveled, with more than 22,000 vehicles per day traveling through the intersection. A crash analysis of the intersection was conducted in August 2021, which analyzed crash data for the previous 5 full years. From January 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2019, there were 13 reported crashes, with 3 being a result of poor visibility at the intersection. More recent crash data for a range from January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2021 also shows that there were 13 reported crashes, with 5 of those being a result of poor visibility at that intersection. The existing building on the northwest corner of Brockway and Gratiot, M46, provides a severe sight distance issue for any motorist traveling southeast on Brockway. the traffic signal at this intersection goes into flash mode between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. every day. During this time, Brockway flashes red, requiring motorists to stop before proceeding through the intersection, whereas Gratiot, M46, flashes yellow and does not require motorists to stop before proceeding through the intersection. During the flash schedule, it is extremely difficult for any driver on Brockway to see eastbound traffic on Gratiot M46 due to the existing building, which forces drivers to creep out further into the intersection and risk being hit when turning onto Gratiot. The engineering division would like to see the building at this corner demolished to provide adequate sight distance for the motoring public. We are in support of moving the proposed establishment further to the west through a waiver to the separation distance for this type of facility to allow for demolishment of the existing building and subsequently increase safety through this intersection. Sincerely, Travis Hare, City Engineer.
Is there any other correspondence that we are not aware of at this time?
No.
Is that the only one? Okay. Again, is there anyone else that would wish to speak on this, this hearing? Second time, anyone else? Third and final time, anyone else to speak on this public hearing J230174? That's a waiver on separation distance for a proposed marijuana retail operation at 1030 Gratiot Avenue. Being none, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Been moved in second. Is there any further comment on closing the hearing? Being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And are we at the point we're voting now, or questions?
Motion to
Motion to-
approve, and then we can go into discussion.
Okay, I need a motion to approve before we go into discussion on it.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve?
Second.
And it's been seconded. Any other discussion on the motion? Being none, all in favor signify by, whoop,
Well,
I've got some questions.
is that all right? On the, on the motion?
to approve the variance.
We have a motion to approve the variance, and it's been seconded.
Right, I thought, Mr. Gale had raised his hand earlier. I thought there were in fact questions on this topic.
No, I wonder if this is the time,
Yes.
you can question
Once we approve
once
the,
we approve, right?
once we approve the motion, then we can discuss. Is that correct?
If you approve the motion, you've approved the variance. So you
Okay,
make the motion, you get a second, you
so
hold
now
discussion, and then you
we
vote.
can go into discussion. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Okay.
And in that discussion, can we ask questions
Yes,
of the audience?
not of the audience. You can do a motion to leave the regular order of business to ask questions of the developer, but not the general audience.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're open for discussion on the motion to approve. Anybody would like to discuss? Go ahead.
I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about the Gratiot study and what the purpose was and what the information came out about this particular area of Gratiot.
The traffic study you mean, you're referring to?
Yeah, the one that was sent to us.
I'm sorry, I don't have privy to that information. However, recently, the M46 corridor study draft was completed, and in that draft, there was a reference to that particular corner where there is a substantial number of accidents on that, in that intersection.
I had one.
For the owners from the Fort Lee Park, is there any information from them?
The owners
The
of
owners of
Fort
the park?
City owns the park.
Exactly.
So-
I'm asking for a reason.
Yeah, so as indicated in the report, there was, that was considered at the last city council meeting. And the motion died to provide the letter on a 4-4 vote, tie.
Can I ask a question? What's the state law on the distances of, like churches and schools?
So The zoning ordinance, I know you're gonna
The zoning ordinance provides for a setback of 100 feet from churches or places of worship, and it provides for a setback of 1,000 feet from schools.
Does the state law have anything about parks?
The state law has nothing about any sensitive use other than schools, I believe. And our setback from schools mirrors the state law.
Any other questions?
Can I make a motion to break the regular order of business, if I'm using that in the right, to ask a question of the developer?
We have a motion, we need a second on that motion.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion on this motion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You may ask to the developer
Thank
to
you.
step up, please.
Thank you. Just a quick question, just because I'm curious, but also in terms of that neighborhood, I think that I have in, so will there be a second floor added to the building? And
No.
It just looks so tall. I assume that it was a second floor.
No, there is no second floor.
Okay.
But the ceiling on that building, I believe it's 22 feet.
Okay, so it's just
Okay.
gonna,
And then basically what we did is we gave it that nice facade. You know, and like, just to give it like that, just to give it that look and to improve. And then if you see like the building that's next to it, the reason that we did it is just to match the building that's next to us. So that was like the main reason, like when the architect did the drawing on the building. With the building that's next to it, it is a two-story building. And then they just didn't look right. You know, you got one high and one low. So just for beautification, just to give it that unique look, to give it that uniform look, that's why we raised it that much.
okay.
Okay?
And then I assume that the whole building right now is all set up with humongous ovens and things like that. I assume that all of those will be removed.
Actually, part of the deal, when we acquired that building, we allowed them to take whatever equipment they wanted.
So they took it all already.
And the nice thing about that, it's actually it was another local business owner that's opening a coffee shop in the Hamilton Street area. She actually the realtor that did the deal for us, and she's the one that's opening that business, and she's the one that took there was a lot of authentic stuff in that bakery.
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad to hear that the equipment went somewhere.
Absolutely.
So maybe it'll continue to make us delicious baked goods in a different location.
100%.
Let me see. So this park area here, will offer better sightlines between the two roads, but I assume, that it'll also be available for neighbors and whoever wants to spend time there and,
That's the
Okay.
the goal.
okay. And the demolition, I guess I wanna go back and ask a question over here. Is that possible?
Well, we should probably
Let's
finish up
continue.
questions.
Let's
with-
continue
Alright.
here.
I
Are
think
you
I'm
all
all
set?
set. I'm all set.
Would
Does
you have a
anyone else?
question for
I do have
developer?
a question.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate what you provided for us, and a lot of the conversation has been regarding the giving back to the community, and as we know, the city of Saginaw is a food desert. And so when we talk about the needs of the city of Saginaw, it's a functioning grocery store, one of the main needs for the community. And then with this being a profiting business, I always ask, what is the plan to increase? I see you shared that last year you gave 150 turkeys, and we know that the dispensary is a very profitable business. What is your continuous commitment to the community, knowing that we've heard from the community and there are concerns about dispensaries, and there's a need we're a food desert, we need housing. As a business, could we hear from you if you have any goals in extending that food support?
Just to give you some background on me, I've owned a convenience store before I got into this. Okay, before I got into property development, you know, I mean, my first job, as I said in my letter, was a stock boy at Foodland, which is 2 blocks away from our first provisioning center that I developed in Saginaw. As far as grocery stores, there's one that just opened up right across the street from us, that old Bighorn. Okay, that one opened back up. To me, I mean, like as far as a convenience store, the issue with that, you know, I mean, like first of all, it's a way bigger scale. Okay, as far as an investment. To me, as a businessman, I mean, like I was never in a scale of a supermarket. I rent convenience stores. I still own a convenience store. I still own a gas station, beside like the real estate that I develop. Okay, but as far as a supermarket, I've never been in that industry, and I've never had, I didn't have the experience in that scale.
And to clarify, I don't want you to open up a grocery store. My question is, in addition to what you have done currently with the 150 turkeys during the holiday, as a business, how do you plan to support the community that you're currently in, the community that you could possibly be in? What is your community focus in giving back outside of the park, which is great?
I guess I'm going to ask for clarification. I'm not sure the direction of this as it relates to the zoning variance.
Right.
This does not relate to the zoning variance, so I'm.
And I support you.
I
I
understand
support
what
that.
you-
Yes, sir. I support that.
So I think we'll.
I appreciate that.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Is there anyone for a presenter at all?
Should I make a
Question-
motion to return
question.
to
No,
regular
I have a
business?
question. The property on the corner where the old pawn shop used to be,
Correct.
is that currently owned by this company?
Yes, it is.
Has that been approved? That did not require a variance, did it?
No, it did not.
So the property that I'm looking at the corner, you could put a dispensary in there right now with no hearings at all. I mean, you could just put that in there.
100%.
It's my understanding then that because the bakery has become available, you would be using the same parking lot. You're just gonna go you would walk then to the west instead of walking to the east. Is that correct?
42 feet to be exact.
Okay, all right. Okay,
This is the only thing that is gonna differentiate this beautification right here, okay, is just this parking lot. Basically, instead of somebody parking right here and coming to this dispensary,
Uh-huh,
to that old looking,
yep,
like this building
Yep.
right here, instead of having this old building right here, okay, now you're gonna have this beautiful building, you're gonna have this beautiful park right here, and you're gonna have this.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
Is there, board members, any questions for our presenter? Okay, thank you very much. We'll need a motion then to go back into
Regular order.
regular order.
I'll make that motion.
Motion,
Support.
and it's been supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Being none, all in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. If there's no other questions,
You can continue discussion on the main motion.
any
and if there's no-
discussion, continued discussion, any,
I'm glad you clarified the distance and that this is already approved for the other building already.
Right.
okay? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? If not, then we are at the point where we vote on this, is that correct?
That is correct.
We have a motion to approve. We'll do a roll call, and you need to vote, and you need to explain your vote.
Correct.
Yep, state your reasoning.
State your reasoning.
All right. Board Member Nash.
Approve. My reason is, this is already approved one time already, it's just the feet. And the 250 feet, I believe, is arbitrary by the city for some reason. I don't know why. But it's just basically changing building A to building B, basically in the same spot.
Commissioner Gale.
I approve also, and because of the visibility with that Smith, it's not Smith Brothers, the pawn shop being removed, it'll eliminate some accidents. I had one there when I was 18 years old. I was a passenger, but we pulled out of what's now Old Town onto Gratiot, and somebody pulled right out in front of us. It's hard at that corner to pull out. Elimination of that building will help tremendously.
Commissioner Browning.
I vote affirmative. I certainly understand the concern of our speakers here, and this company is asking for a variance. and I understand your concerns. If I was to turn this down, that dispensary is still gonna be on that corner. It's still gonna be there. And so I think this is kind of a win-win. So I am going to vote affirmative for that, for the purpose that it's gonna be there anyways, and I think this is a better way.
Commissioner Forbes?
I vote yes as well. My reasoning, I also hear the concerns of the folks that are here today. I also hear the support from the neighbors. And I look at our 4 items that we go through to judge whether or not we allow a variance of this kind, and I do not see any issues with what has been proposed, and so I vote yes.
Commissioner Copeland?
I have to vote in affirmative at this point by the laws that we have set by our city and our ordinance, and that this dispensary is already going to open. I hear the call of our community. I would encourage that we continue to speak more, but at this point, with what we have set as an ordinance by the city, I cannot vote in the negative.
Okay, motion was approved.
Motion is approved. Does that, then do we have to close the hearing on that?
No,
Or that's already been closed?
Move on to the next
And we
item.
move on to the next item. So it has been voted affirmative for you to proceed there. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming and speaking. We got some other minor businesses that we'll be talking about right here. You're welcome to stay for it. A couple things. Number one, we moved the election of officers down to, oh, I'm sorry, we have public comment first. Is that correct?
No, do election of officers. Keep it under new business. Yep.
Okay, election of officers. We need election of officers, and so if somebody
So we have a
wants to.
chair and a vice chair and a secretary?
We have 3, chair, vice chair.
Browning is the chair, Gale's the vice chair, Nash is the secretary.
So
So-
you need nominations.
I
You
nominate.
can't nominate the entire slate.
You can't.
We can't nominate the entire slate.
You do this
We
later.
cannot nominate.
We
people?
can.
Oh, go, do you want to go ahead?
I motion to nominate our committee members as is possible.
You need it?
Do you accept?
Did you not hear me? I made a motion to approve our positions as we currently are.
Oh, keep the
I have no
elected
problem with that.
Oh, I need a second on that.
I'll second.
It's been motioned, and do we have acceptance from those that are in that position? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, yes. I would make a suggestion that at least one of our officers would sit on this side, so we're not all on this side. Well, no, never mind.
It's gotta depend on the staff. That's a staff problem, where they put the name
Okay.
tags.
Yeah, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We're now down to public comments. Is there any other public comments to come before us tonight?
The public has left.
Would our new alternate like to speak? This would be a time that you could do that. Welcome. Was it
Fun for you?
Welcome. It was short-lived up here, but we make mistakes. Is there any other any other old business, board members, any other old business? Okay. You did get, the copy of the proposed meetings for the remainder of this year. You have those. If no other business, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded by everybody. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're adjourned.